Welcome in. It is day 270 and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today we're going to be going over a game that is one of the most popular games out there today. The game is called Wingspan. Now, Wingspan is one of those games that I had heard about for a long time. This was supposed to be so good. And I tried to try it out myself. I actually downloaded the app, bought and downloaded the game on my Nintendo Switch. And I just started it out there. And I thought, okay, let's try it. And it just didn't hit for me. I didn't like it. But I find that a lot of games, when you attempt these on apps or on video games, it's not going to be the same feel. Sometimes it's a better feel. Sometimes it's not as good. This one just didn't hit for me. And I thought, maybe I don't like it, or maybe it's just not the right place. Well, fast forward nearly 2.5 years later, and I ended up playing this game with my friends. I picked it as our Monday night game because I wanted to finally try it. And I did really like the game. It was really fun. The concept is you're collecting all of these bird cards, and you're using these in a combination of other things as your creation of trying to get a bird out, and then slowly build up. Okay, you've made your bird. Now you're, depending on the row that you're in, you're going to go for different actions. So, I want to make an egg action. Well, it's going to cost you whatever food you want to pay, and now you get eggs based on the one you're activating. Well, now I want to activate this action. It's now the next one out, so it's going to cost you a little bit more. You have multiple actions, and every action has the same payment. The only difference is, depending on how many birds are in the row, is where the payment starts to fluctuate. The more birds you've gotten in that row, the more and more expensive it becomes, until eventually you're in a situation of, all right, well, you've got the payment going through fine as far as you can afford it, but be aware, do you have enough food? Do you have enough of your bird cards? Do you have enough of your eggs? And how are things scoring? There are the scorings that happen at the end of each of the rounds. There are 4 rounds, as well as majority control, which is going to also control who's going to have the most points. So it's a really cool setup. It's a nice little balancing act. But why don't we jump in? Let's talk our 7 categories and see where this one lands for us. When it comes to the art, that's why people want this game. This box is beautiful. The cards inside are beautiful. And it's not often that you get a game. Let me rephrase this. It's not often 5+ years ago that you got a game about animals that was realistic art like this. Since then, a lot have come out. We are dealing with a lot more of these realistic art animal-style games. We've seen some zoo-style games and such come out. So it's building in popularity. But I think Wingspan really kicked that off. So the art for me, thumbs up. Your components. The components are, you have great quality in your cards. You also have really good quality in all of your little wooden discs, basically, that you're using to represent all of these different types of food. And then your eggs are really nice, like, I don't know if it's a plastic or almost like a rock type substance, but it's really good stuff. Thumbs up. Your price. Your price is where this gets a little bit shaky. This game is $60. This is not cheap. If you find this in a store, you're not paying less than $60. You might pay as much as $70. If you find this online, it's probably about $60. Depending on time of year, maybe you get lucky. You can get it for $55-ish. But it's a $60 game. So this is not a cheap game. So I'm not recommending this to people who have kids. I think the kids are going to want to play, and I think the kids are going to end up not being able to understand it. And even if they do, it's a theme that may not hit for all kids. Some kids may love it, some may not. Beginners, same thing. I don't think this is an extremely hard game, but I do think this is not a great game to start with. So I'm not paying that price for a beginner. So then you have your experts and your experienced. Now this hits better for them. But where does this rank? I just did last week Tapestry. Tapestry probably is a little bit more expensive than this game. But if I'm an experienced or an expert player, I'm more likely to lean in the direction of getting the Tapestry game for a little bit more, because I think I'm going to be more excited to play that more often than to get this one. Not to say I don't like this game. I do. I greatly like it. But am I buying it? No. I don't want to buy this because a friend has it. If nobody owned it, would I buy it? I would think about it. But if I was told nobody had Tapestry, nobody had Wingspan, and I had to buy one, which one am I buying? I'd buy Tapestry. I'd lean in the direction of Scythe before this. I'd lean in the direction of getting Clank or Dune Imperium or a whole bunch of my other games. I really like this game. I just don't think that for its price, it's going to beat out the other games in its category of price. And so it's okay to buy. I'm not saying don't. Just understand you have to compare this in categorically what other games are really in that area and who you buy first. And this one, just for me, falls very far down that list, at least for now. So for me, as much as I like it, thumbs down. Your difficulty. I just talked about that. Now, this is where it's going to differ a little bit. Just because the difficulty may not hit for everybody, and that's why you wouldn't get it for the price, doesn't mean you can't look back at it and go, it's great for experts, it's great for experienced, and I don't think a beginner is impossible to play. They just have to have a good enough teacher. So for me, difficulty, thumbs up. Replayability. I see replayability here. It is a little bit of a long game, but I think that's primarily from setup. So if this took, say, 3 hours between setup, learning, playing, pack up. Well, now let's say, all right, how much was the setup? How much was the pack up? How much was the learning? When I've played game 1, how long would game 2 take additional? I think, realistically, game 2 would probably take 2 hours, maybe less. And I think 3 hours is pushing it on this. I think it was really more like a 2.5 hour play. So that means second play might be more like an hour and a half. I think you're saving a lot of time with those other factors out of the way. So I think it does have a chance for a multiplay in one night. Not that I would push for it, but I could see the opportunity. And I do think that for smaller game groups, this is one that's going to get played multiple times in a month. I think that for bigger game groups, it's going to be held off a bit, but I could see this, now that we've played it, maybe this one gets back to our table before the end of the year. So I do think there's some replayability here. Thumbs up. Your keys to victory. So what are you after? Are you trying to work on building up your egg storage? Are you trying to work on preparing? You know what the 4 special scorings are during the game. Are you after prepping for those later rounds and making sure that you have dominance over those? Or making sure you're always just on the cusp to get at least second place points in every round? Or are you not worrying about those and you're worrying about the end game scoring and you're trying to build up your eggs, you're trying to build up your total amount of birds, you're trying to build up your food supply? There's a lot of ways to work it, and I don't feel that any particular way is wrong. It's a thumbs up. Is the game unique? You know, for now, I think the game is unique. I could see a lot of other games starting to creep towards it, and there's some games that I just can't compare to it because I haven't played them yet, that I have a feeling is going to challenge us a bit. But for right now, the concept of these multi-rows, of building up, you know, take away the idea of bird and make it a warrior, and then take away the idea of hatching new ones with eggs and instead make it upgrade. You know, if you work it that way, it's like, yeah, I could see some comparisons. But this is so strong with its theme, and it's so different with its components and its setup. I just don't see another game that really challenges the experience I get when I play this. So for me, unique. Thumbs up. Overall, what do I think? It's a really fun game. It's a game that's worth your time. I would highly recommend that you play it, and I think you have to play this in person. Don't play the online versions. I've tried it. They didn't hit for me. So again, maybe I'm just the outlier here, but I don't want you to give a shot to this game and feel like the game's a loss when, like myself, 2.5 years later, I tried in person and I go, wow, this is a totally different experience. So I think try it in person. Don't rush out and buy it right away, but try it in person, see if you and your group like it, and if you do, see if somebody wants to get it. Well, it has been day 270, and we've been speaking about the game Wingspan, and you've been speaking to the Meeples champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.